If you own one of these, or like I do, a couple of these, you might want to build this next project. Okay, the first thing I did was I'm recycling one of my old coffee table tops, and I'm not even concerned about removing that laminate on there. I'm going to leave that on there and put it to the inside, I guess it would be. So I ripped 3 pieces 6 inches wide, and then I ripped a 4th piece. It's supposed to be 3.5 3.588. It's 3.59. I'm gonna call that close enough. Well, I decided to plane the boards down to 3/4 inch thickness, and when I'm running them through the thickness planer, these short boards are basically the long grain is going this way, so you're tearing off, you're shaving off long grain chips, and you can see this one down here. That's part of the reason I got rid of this thing, is because I didn't do a very good job of laminating that. I used contact cement, and that was not a good choice. So, but you can see the chips down here, and you get these long grain chips, and here's a piece of here's a big chip out, and that clogged up my planer. But I will say this about the planer, to DeWalt's credit. It was very easy to clean out. So it's just a matter of 7 bolts basically. You've got this shield here. This is the vacuum part of the planer, and then mounts in here with just 3 bolts. And you would have to remove this anyway to change the blades, so I'm kind of glad to get in here and take a look at it. Now let's see, putting it back together. There we go. Okay. So these 3 long red bolts are just like long thumb screws, very easy to get out, and that's all that holds this hood in place. I guess that's a better term for it, the dust hood. And then it's just a matter of putting the cover on, which is held in by 3 or 4 socket head bolts. That just slides back on there and gets screwed back into place. Let me check these dimensions here. I think I'm very close to what I want. .753, I'd say that's pretty darn close. So we'll take this and use this as my dimension. That way I don't have to, or this is my thickness, I don't have to redo my math. Turns out I had plenty of material. The outside dimension is 13 3/4. So the inside pieces are 12 1/4. And I thought they were 13 3/4. So I had plenty of material. So now I just need to lay out these connection points for the dominoes. These outside corners will not be a big deal, but this piece in here, I've got to be very careful to get that exactly where I want. So, all right, I got tired of tapping and measuring and making sure everything was where it was supposed to be. So I made 2 equal spacers here, and they're just a hair under 12 1/4. So now I know that that's going to be perfectly centered. So I'm just going to use 1 on each side here, and that's when I'm going to register my my board off of. So I'll know that that's going to be exactly where I want it to be. Let's turn this way. I clamp that in there. That will become my line right there. And then I'll put them up, I'll go straight up and put them on this side. And make my cuts based on that. And then I need to make sure I'm going to register off of this side. So I'll put X on this side and X on this side. So register off of this and register off of this, and we should drop in together. We'll come back with the results. Alright, this time I'm using the pin to register off the side here. So up against my boards, slide it up, and make this cut. Now then on the side, I'm going to have this, the X is going to be down, and I'll register off of the table here. And I'll use my pin again. From each side here. See how that fits. Like a dream. Okay, I'll just reverse it, do the other side up there. We should be good. are beautiful. Cannot complain about the fit whatsoever. Everything's square. That's just nice. Okay, so I got to cut my clamps off, and I just had it up into my garage for a test fit with the tanks, and it's great. So when I go to cut these triangles off of here, you can see I've got them laid out. I should be able to get 2, but the reason for this dimension of 3.588 is that this right angle triangle will give me, when I cut it at 45, it'll give me the proper distance between the long sides here. It should measure about 12¼ inches when I lay them in there. Okay, got my triangles cut here, and I'm just going to lay them in like that. Just glue them in place. And I did a quick measurement, and it is 12¼ which is good. Okay, we'll let that sit for a while. I've got nothing more than just glue here, no screws or anything, and you can see I just used some other triangles actually left over from my hand plane rack that I made to get pressure on these inside ones. So, you know, this thing is just going to get beat up, so I'm not really concerned about the corners here, about it really looking pretty. I want it to be effective in what I want it to do, and that's just to hold LP tanks in place while I'm driving. Okay, so in the back of my pickup, I've got these cargo hooks, or loops I guess, that I can attach anything I want to them. So I came up with this little piece here. It's nothing more than 1/2 inch plywood that's just been glued together. Got a slot cut in it for the loop, and it works out pretty nice because when I take this carabiner and hook that over that, it gives it a pretty nice fit. So what I've done then is, or what I need to do with this one, is to place it in the box and locate a hole. And I'm going to put that back just a little bit. I'm going to take my transfer punch and locate this hole. Alright, I got a mark here. I'm just going to make sure I can see it. So that's where I want to drill. That's where I want to drill my hole, right there. And then I can put a carriage bolt in there. And I'll show you this other setup I have already done. This one is for transporting my gas tank. So when I tighten that up, now it's not real solid, but it's going to keep it from sliding. So let me grab my gas tank here, and you can see now that when I go to refill it, I don't have to worry about it sliding around in the back of my box here. There you go. So it just drops into this holder, and then when I'm done using it, I can either leave this together and just unclip this, and store it, away like that. Yeah, or take this apart and then store it in the 2 pieces. But but this is the locking piece that I'm going to use for both of them. So I'll drill my hole here. We'll put this one in, and then we'll see how that fits, and then I'll drop one of my LP tanks in there and see how that's going to work as well. Okay, got my carriage bolt installed, well, kind of installed. I've got to pull it tight yet. Let's install this part of the jig or setup. Lock that in. Slide this into the hole. And get rid of, tighten it down and pull that bolt in. Actually, I'm going to get a hammer and tap that baby home. Okay, that'll work. And the one thing you want to do is you want to keep that bolt away from this center line so that it doesn't interfere with your tank. Let me see how this works. These are full, but this one is. It drops right in just like it's supposed to. Grab the other one. Beautiful. So there you have it. I don't think now I have to worry about those things rolling around anymore the way they're sitting in there now. So I think that's going to be just dandy. There you have it. So that one and this one. Gasoline and LP. So obviously if you only have one extra tank to fill, why you only need one compartment here. But I'm real happy with the way this turned out, or the concept anyway. I think it's going to be much safer transporting those types of fuels in the back of my truck now, or instead of having them in the cab where you kind of get that off gassing sometimes. Thanks for watching.